Have you ever felt drained, unmotivated, with that strange feeling of emptiness after certain habits? Well, that's not just in your head. In today's video, we're going to uncover one of the greatest spiritual secrets that no one talks about. What demons steal from those who fall into the trap of masturbation. It may seem like a heavy, controversial topic, but that's precisely why almost no one discusses it, openly and directly. There is a spiritual influence behind this act. It's not just a biological issue or a harmless habit. It has a real impact on your energy, your mental state, and your spiritual journey. And the worst part is, the more you feed this cycle, the more you lose your vital force to entities that want to keep you weak and trapped. So if you feel like your energy is always low, your life is stuck, or your connection to the divine feels distant, this video is for you. We'll explore the hidden impacts of this habit, understand why it weakens the chosen ones, and most importantly, how to break free from this cycle and reclaim your strength. If this video resonates with you, give it a like and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. And of course, if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the upcoming content. The chosen ones carry within them a powerful energy, a vital force that sustains their spiritual connection and their mission in the world. This energy, often called Kundalini, spiritual essence, or simply inner strength, is not just symbolic. It's real and can be felt in different areas of life. When this energy is strong and balanced, you feel more energized, mentally clear, intuitively sharp, and firmly grounded in your purpose. But when it is drained or misused, clear signs of weakening begin to appear: excessive fatigue, lack of motivation, unwillingness to pursue your goals, and even a strange sense of emptiness. And that's exactly what happens when a chosen one falls into the trap of uncontrolled masturbation. Each time you release this energy unconsciously, without intention or awareness, a part of your vital force is lost. And this loss is not just physical. It has a direct impact on your spiritual vibration. Have you noticed that after this act you feel exhausted, as if something has been sucked out of you? That's not just psychological. It's real energetic depletion. That's why so many spiritual traditions speak of retention and channeling of sexual energy. It's no coincidence. In the spiritual realm, this energy is considered one of the most powerful in existence because it carries the power of creation. When well directed, this force can be used to manifest incredible changes in your life, strengthen your spirituality, and even protect you against energetic attacks. But when it is repeatedly wasted, the effect is the opposite. You become vulnerable, weak, and more prone to negative spiritual interference. And that's where the demons come in. They take advantage of this fragility to drain even more of your energy. Every time you give in to this cycle, you are, without realizing it, giving up something precious, your vital force, which should be used to strengthen and guide you in your mission, is being drained and diverted into something that brings you no real benefit. Have you ever noticed how, after engaging in this habit, a sudden sadness might strike you? A feeling that something is missing, or even a greater difficulty in connecting with your spirituality? Well, that's not a coincidence. You're literally feeling the effects of this energetic drainage, and the more you feed this cycle, the harder it becomes to recover your strength. Now, what happens when this loss of vital energy becomes frequent? What happens when this spiritual connection begins to weaken and it becomes harder and harder to feel your own light? God communicates through a connection that goes beyond words. It's a deep vibration, a frequency that brings protection, clarity, and spiritual guidance. But this connection doesn't happen by chance. It must be nurtured and kept in balance. When the energy of a chosen one is aligned, their intuition becomes stronger, their mind clearer, and they can perceive the signs that the universe sends. However, when that energy is constantly wasted, as with uncontrolled masturbation, that connection begins to weaken. Have you ever felt a certain guilt or a sense of spiritual disconnection after giving in to that habit, as if your vibration suddenly dropped and it became harder to feel God's presence or stay focused on your spiritual path? That happens because masturbation, especially when fueled by fantasies or content loaded with heavy energy, creates a barrier between you and the sacred. That barrier is not just psychological, it is energetic. Each time you release your vital energy unconsciously, your vibration lowers, and with it, your ability to feel the divine presence also decreases. It's like a veil is placed between you and the spiritual world, clouding your clarity and making it harder to receive answers to your questions. Notice the signs of the universe, or even feel the same peace. And there's one more important detail. Masturbation rarely happens in isolation. It often comes with thoughts and stimuli that lower the vibrational frequency of a chosen one even more, especially when the act is carried out automatically and without awareness. Often it's connected to images, videos, and fantasies that feed energies within your spiritual field. Many chosen ones report that after periods of abstinence and control over this energy, they begin to feel a stronger intuition, more lucid dreams, and a deeper connection with God. This happens because, by preserving this force, you allow your vibration to remain elevated. The opposite is also true. When this energy is frequently wasted, you feel a subtle distancing, as if your spiritual sensitivity has become dull, and it doesn't stop there. This spiritual disconnection leaves a chosen one vulnerable to energetic attacks, negative influences, and mental states of doubt and insecurity. Have you noticed how after indulging in this habit, your mind becomes more unstable, as if it's harder to stay focused on your mission and goals? That happens because by weakening your connection with God, you also weaken your spiritual protection. And this vulnerability has much more serious consequences because it opens doors to forces that want to keep you weak and lost. When a chosen one is spiritually strong, their energy creates a natural shield, an invisible protective field that blocks spiritual attacks, repels negative influences, and prevents dark forces from interfering in their life. But what happens when that shield begins to weaken? When vital energy is constantly drained, as with uncontrolled masturbation, this protective barrier breaks, and that's when the attacks begin. Many chosen ones notice that, after indulging in this habit, they start to feel more anxious, restless, or even depressed. Little things begin to go wrong, unexpected difficulties arise, and the feeling of being stuck in life becomes more obvious. This is not a coincidence. When your spiritual protection is weakened, parasitic entities and dense energies find openings to infiltrate. These negative influences operate subtly at first. It starts with thoughts of doubt and self-sabotage. You begin to question yourself more, lose confidence in your path, and feel like your spiritual goals are out of reach. Then come heavy emotions like guilt, fear, and anguish, which further drain your energy. Little by little, your vibration drops, and you find yourself trapped in a vicious cycle of low frequency. And the most dangerous part is that when a chosen one is in this vulnerable state, they become an easy target for spiritual manipulation. Negative forces want you to remain weak, disconnected, and distant from your mission. They know that when you are empowered, your light shines intensely and has the power to transform the world around you. But when you're drained and lost, your influence becomes limited, and you become just another face in the crowd. Moreover, the loss of spiritual protection also affects your relationships and your material life. Have you ever noticed how after a period of indulgence in this habit, your interactions with others change? You may experience distance, communication difficulties, and even unexplained conflicts. This happens because your energy is no longer vibrating at the same frequency as before, and the people around you can sense that, even if unconsciously. What's worse is that when a chosen one is spiritually weak, their discernment also decreases. You might start making poor decisions, trusting the wrong people, and following paths that lead nowhere. All of this happens because your intuition becomes clouded. Your protection is compromised, and you can no longer perceive the signs that once were so clear. The chosen ones have grand missions. You feel it, don't you? From an early age, there has been a calling inside you, a sense that you came to this world for something greater. But fulfilling that mission requires one essential thing: discipline. And that's exactly what this habit robs you of. Repetitive masturbation doesn't just affect your spiritual energy, it rewires your brain. Every time you give in to this impulse, your nervous system releases dopamine, a neurotransmitter linked to pleasure and reward. But over time, your brain gets used to this easy rush of pleasure, and begins to avoid activities that require effort and discipline. Have you noticed how, after indulging in this habit, you feel lazier? Everyday tasks seem harder, procrastination increases, and that drive you once had for spiritual growth seems to evaporate. This happens because your brain is conditioned to seek instant gratification instead of committing to longer, more meaningful processes, and that directly impacts your connection with God and your purpose. If before you felt the urge to study, meditate, seek spiritual knowledge, and evolve, now those activities seem less interesting, little by little you begin to neglect your mission. What once was a priority now becomes something you constantly postpone, and that later never comes. Moreover, the loss of discipline makes you more vulnerable to other addictions and distractions: social media, television, overeating, irregular sleep. Everything seems more tempting when your willpower is weakened, and each time you give in to those distractions, your spiritual vibration drops even more, making it harder to regain control of your life. And this isn't just about losing focus on spiritual things. This habit also affects your ability to reach material goals. Many chosen ones notice that when they're stuck in this cycle of self-sabotage, their projects don't seem to move forward. Whether it's work, studies, or any other area, the feeling of stagnation becomes constant. That's because the energy that should be used to create and manifest is being wasted in an uncontrolled way. Then comes the frustration. You start blaming yourself, feeling incapable, and that generates even more guilt and demotivation. The mind enters a vicious cycle. You feel lost, seek relief in immediate pleasure, weaken yourself even more, lose focus, and before you know it, your life is at a standstill. The chosen ones have a special gift, the ability to manifest realities. It's not just about positive thinking or coincidence. It's energy in action. Everything you feel, think, and believe generates a vibrational frequency that attracts situations and experiences into your life. But this power can be completely sabotaged when your creative energy is wasted. Sexual energy is one of the most powerful forms of vital force a human being possesses. It's no coincidence that great spiritual masters have always emphasized the importance of directing it wisely. This energy is pure creation. It is the same force that generates life, drives projects, and magnetizes opportunities. But when this force is constantly drained, especially through excessive and purposeless masturbation, your ability to attract begins to collapse. Have you noticed that when you remain firm, focused, and disciplined, your life seems to flow better? Suddenly doors open, you meet the right people, answers come more easily, and everything seems aligned. That's because your energy is being channeled correctly. But when that energy is wasted unconsciously and without control, your vibrational frequency weakens. It's as if your power of manifestation is dissipated into emptiness. What once was a strong and powerful magnetic field becomes fragmented and unstable. You start to doubt yourself, to think negatively, and to feel that everything is stuck. And as we've said before, demons and parasitic entities feed off this state of vulnerability. The weaker you feel, the harder it is to regain control of your reality. There's another crucial factor: mental clarity. When your creative energy is intact, your mind becomes sharper, your intuition strengthens, and you begin to see opportunities and paths that were previously hidden. But when that energy is wasted, your mind becomes cloudy, confused, full of distractions. You lose connection with your own power, and that reflects in every area of your life. If you're trying to manifest prosperity, but are trapped in this cycle of energy waste, abundance moves away. If you're seeking a greater purpose but can't move past stagnation, it might be because your creative force is being drained. The good news is, this power can be restored. Just like a muscle that needs to be strengthened, manifestation energy can be recovered when you learn to consciously channel your vital force. Now that you understand the spiritual dangers behind this habit, the big question is, how do you break free for good? How do you escape this cycle and recover your energy, clarity, and connection with the divine? The answer isn't just willpower, because on its own, the desire to stop may not be enough. What you need is strategy, discipline, and most importantly, a shift in how you perceive this energy. The first step to breaking this cycle is awareness. You need to truly understand that this is not a harmless habit. Every time you give in to this impulse, your energy is being drained. Every time you feed fantasies and uncontrolled desires, you're opening doors to forces that want to keep you weak. Having this clarity changes everything. It pulls you out of autopilot mode. Then comes the second step, transmuting this energy. Sexual energy is extremely powerful, but it must be directed. If you don't use it consciously, it ends up manifesting in a chaotic way. That's why practices like physical exercise, meditation, prayer, and breathing techniques are so effective. They help redirect this vital force toward something constructive. If you feel a strong urge to release this energy, try to channel it into something productive. Take that power and use it to create, to work on your projects, to strengthen your body and your mind. The more you direct this energy towards something greater, the less it controls you. Another essential point is staying occupied with a higher purpose. One of the biggest triggers for falling into this cycle is boredom and lack of direction. When your life feels empty, when you don't have a clear goal, your mind seeks escape, and instant pleasure becomes a dangerous trap. That's why it's essential to fill your life with something that motivates you. Ask yourself, what mission did God place in my path? How can I use my energy for something that truly makes a difference? When you find a purpose that makes you feel alive, this type of distraction loses its power over you. And here comes a point many people ignore: the environment you're in. If you're surrounded by negative stimuli, if you spend hours consuming content that pulls you back into this habit, it will be much harder to break the cycle. The change must be complete, from how you think to what you consume daily. And last but not least, ask for spiritual help. You don't have to fight this battle alone. Pray, ask for guidance, ask for strength to break free. The more you connect with the divine, the more protected you are from these traps. Breaking this cycle isn't easy, but it is possible. And once you succeed, you'll see your life begin to change in amazing ways. Now that you understand everything that's at stake, the question remains, what will you do with this information? Will you continue on autopilot, giving your energy away to forces that want to keep you weak? Or will you take control of your own life and reclaim the power that has always been yours? This is not just a matter of self-control, but of spiritual freedom. When you free yourself from this cycle, everything changes. Your mind becomes clearer, your intuition sharper, your connection with the divine stronger. You begin to realize that the constant tiredness, lack of motivation, and even anxiety were actually symptoms of an energetic theft, happening without your awareness. Now the choice is yours. Do you feel like this has already happened to you? That this habit has been dragging you down and preventing your growth? Share your story in the comments. Your experience could help others recognize this trap and make a different choice. And if this video resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Maybe they don't even realize they're caught in this cycle, but the right word at the right time can change an entire life. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you don't miss more content like this. We're in this journey together, awakening, spiritually, and protecting ourselves from the traps that try to pull us away from our true purpose. See you in the next video. May the light always be with you.